Hi everyone, and welcome back to Urban Pulse GY, your planning podcast, where we highlight developmental initiatives in Guyana, navigate planning issues, and explore potential solutions. I am Cassandra Lindbergh Finance, your host and planning coach. Good evening. Did you know that there exists archaeological evidence right here in Guyana that suggests that human civilizations existed right here, even before the pyramids of Egypt? And even more interesting is that the discovery was made by a team of researchers from several leading universities and an Amerindian Guyanese from the community of St. Cuthbert's Mission. But for more of this and other interesting facts, stay tuned to today's Planning Digest segment, where we'll be learning more about this interesting fact. From our last two episodes, we now have an understanding that the Industrial Revolution brought about significant changes in urbanization, and that those changes necessitated various reforms to address the challenges posed by the rapid industrial growth. So today, we'll be pulsating around a few of the key reforms that were introduced to enhance livability, functionality, and overall beautification of cities. I'd like to start by talking about the public health reforms. There was the Public Health Act. One of the primary concerns during the Industrial Revolution was the public health. And this was due to the overcrowding and the unsanitary conditions in the cities. And we talked about this. And in response, several public health measures were enacted. One such act was Great Britain's Public Health Act of 1848, which was aimed at improving sanitation and hygiene in urban areas, and by establishing local boards of health. This legislation outlined standards that must be met when undertaking housing construction. The buildings must consider ventilation, sanitation, and safety. Another reform also is the zoning law. And to planners, this one is critical. And the zoning laws, they were enacted because cities were expanding. Zoning laws were introduced to regulate land use and separate residential areas from industrial zones. To this end, there was a 1916 zoning ordinances. These laws were aimed at controlling urban growth by designating specific areas for residential, commercial, or industrial uses, thereby reducing conflicts between land uses. Another reform that is notable was the establishment of planning departments. And this reform marked a significant impact, a significant period in the management of city and its growth. Governments began to see the importance of having departments that are specifically dedicated to everything urban planning. So by the early 20th century, many city governments created planning departments to oversee urban development and to implement comprehensive plans for future city development. Another critical reform was in the housing sector. So housing reforms were critical as they were addressing the poor living conditions faced by many urban dwellers. So we had the tenement house laws. These laws mandated the improvement of housing quality. It ensured that safety standards were upheld for the low-income residents. Another reform, or another law, in fact, was the Public Housing Initiative. And this was around the 1930s, thereabout. And the introduction of the public housing programs was aimed at improving access to affordable housing for low-class families. Another area that experienced significant reform was in the transportation infrastructural development sector. Transportation infrastructure became a focal point for urban planners. As city grew, governments began investing in railroads and subways. The expansion of rail networks and subway systems facilitated better connectivities within cities and supported suburban growth. And the final reform I'd like to touch on was that there was reform as it pertains to park and recreational areas. People began recognizing the need for green spaces amidst the urban congestion, and this led to initiatives focused on parks. So by the late 19th century, there was the park movement, which saw the establishment of several parks, and one such is the New York's Central Park. The aim was to provide recreational spaces for citizens while enhancing property value around these areas. These reforms collectively contributed to shaping modern urban planning practices by addressing the challenges posed by rapid industrialization and population growth. They laid the groundwork for more organized, equitable, and sustainable city development. Are you looking to own your own vehicle? Then check out Janai's Auto Sales and Imports for all your motor vehicle needs. And take advantage of our cash purchases, bank financing, or our rent-to-own options. We're located at Lot 16 Annandale on the east coast of Demerara, or call us on 686-0330. Janai's Auto Sales, making dreams a reality. A sad reality is that many non-Amerindian Guyanese hold negative and discriminatory stereotypes that depicts our first settlers as uneducated or primitive. And as a result, they have not contributed or is not contributing to Guyana and its development. I am here to enlighten the uninformed on this unfounded claim. As we shared in our last Planning Digest, it is a fact that the contributions of the Amerindians to Guyana predates the arrival of all other ethnic groups. Further, we would have already acknowledged the foundation they laid as it pertains to our geopolitical landscape. The truth is that the Amerindians are integral to Guyana's identity and development across multiple dimensions. Guyana's cultural landscape is significantly influenced by their rich heritage, their oral traditions, the myths, the legends, their art, cuisine. All of these contributes to the cultural identity of all Guyanese. Their traditional dishes like cassava bread and pepper pot are now national staples and international culinary sensations. They are lauded globally for their sustainable management practices, including biodiversity preservation, climate change mitigation, and wildlife conservation initiatives. Additionally, their vast knowledge of the hinterland and its landscape and terrain plays a critical role in expeditions and explorations. All of these add value to our tourism products, as we are able to display the beauty of our beautiful Guyana through agriculture, ecotourism, and small business initiatives. The Amerindian communities continues to enhance food security and contribute to our GDP. Entrenched and entwined in our social fabric is a contribution the Amerindians have made to communities as it pertains to agriculture, health, education, mining, whatever field they are working in, they are contributing to Guyana's growth and development. My friends, if you're looking for an Amerindian who contributed to Guyana's development, they are many. But look no further. Let me introduce you to the late Mr. George Simon, an Amerindian Guyanese, born in 1947 in the rural community of St. Cuthbert's Mission, a renowned artist, archaeologist, anthropologist, community leader, and lecturer. George Simon is renowned for his archaeological findings, which to Guyana was significant and transformative, particularly regarding the understanding of pre-Columbian human settlement in the region. His investigation was sparked by a report received from Major General Joe Singh, who reported that while on a flight over the Berbice River, he sighted some unusual earth monks. Simon's findings revealed that the monks were not natural formation, but rather anthropogenic structures created by prehistoric communities. The fertile man-made soil indicated a highly intelligent civilization. Carbon dating indicated that the Arawak population in that period, they were sophisticated, and this was evident in the agricultural practices. And this contradicted the pre-Columbian narrative that we currently have today. And it testifies of an advanced and sophisticated human civilization existing, or that was existed right here in Guyana. That civilization dates back 5,000 years. Simon's findings place these agricultural sites among some of the oldest known agricultural sites in the Americas, even predating the Great Pyramids of Egypt. So if you weren't acquainted with the fact that the Amerindians had and continues to contribute to Guyana's development, take a minute and digest on that. My friends, this has brought us to the end of today's podcast, where we discuss planning reforms and the significant contributions our Amerindian people made and continues to make in Guyana. Join us again next week. And remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe to Urban Pulse GY on our Facebook and YouTube channel, as together we build sustainable communities and a better Guyana. Bye, friends.